Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Saturday morning. Hope everyone is okay. Everyone's having a good weekend and all things considered. Obviously, Spurs play tomorrow, so they can't ruin your Saturday, I promise. If you did miss it, by the way, we did the preview yesterday. Go and check it out after this. But in this video, we are talking about, weirdo reports surrounding Barca's interest in 4 wingers, one of which being Dejan Kulusevski. We're also going to be talking about a bogus report surrounding Liverpool's supposed interest in Micky van der Ven. And I kind of just want to get rid of both of them, to be fair, because Twitter right now is somewhat losing their marbles. And I thought, well, I'd just get rid of them, just to spell them, So we'll get through to it. But yeah, good morning to you all. Morning, Dragon, Spurs, El Dante, Adiz, XL, Bazza, Steve, Marshall, Hansi, how are we all? I haven't played Assassin's Creed in years, mate. If I go for a stroll, it's in Skyrim. There you go. Look, let's talk about this Spurs news. Come on. So let's start with the Barca interest. So El Nacional, this is what I'm saying. It's, Spurs losing their minds, but we're just going to get rid of it. Saying that Deco, the sporting director of Barcelona, has handed manager Hansi Flick a 4-player shortlist for the summer. Anthony Gordon from Newcastle, Luis Diaz from Liverpool, Jeremy Doku from Manchester City, and of course, Dejan Kulusevski from Spurs. Out of the 4 of those, you'd have to say the one that they can have some likeliness in getting would be Luis Diaz, if I'm honest. I just think Doku. I mean, look, I think with Diaz, there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of noise surrounding his camp and maybe, it could be Barca's camp leaking it. We don't know, but there's a lot of noise between them, at least, that he would be interested in that Barca move. Obviously, Manchester City not having long signed Jeremy Doku, not going to see that. Anthony Gordon, maybe, but he's going to be more expensive than both of those guys. And Dejan Kulusevski's not leaving Spurs when he's probably one of, if not our best player. And he's going to cost more than Doku and Diaz. And when you're talking about a Barcelona team who struggled to register their own players, as we speak, right this second, I don't see them spending, 100-odd million on like a Gordon-ish. I'm not saying Gordon would be 100 million, but I mean, it'd be closer to 100 million than it would be 50 million, in my opinion, for him or a Kulusevski. When we talk about Diaz or Doku, City are going to want their money back. And if Liverpool want their money back on Diaz, what's that, about 40-odd million? So I could totally see it. I could see Liverpool moving him, to be fair. I feel like Liverpool maybe feel like they can get a little bit more out of their left wing position. I mean, Gakpo obviously has been really, really solid this year. And I think Gakpo kind of is the clubhouse leader, as they say in golf, in that left wing position, if they were to be moving more so with Jota through the centre or getting Nunez a bit more time through the centre. Then that way, all right, we need to get a left winger in. And, maybe that's the way they would go about it personally. But, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near Dejan Kulusevski. Hence why, just trying to spell it. People are losing their marbles, and I have no idea why. Absolutely no idea why. Morning, Jazz. How are we? So, look, there's that on a little bit on Dejan Kulusevski. I also don't think Spurs are going to want to get rid of him. That's the other key thing here. When you look at Kulusevski, let's have a look at his contract when it expires. He's 24 as well. He's 25 in about 2.5 months' time. Contract expires in the summer of 2028. He's going to have 3 years left on his deal. Spurs are going to want minimum double what they spent on him. And I think in total, they probably spent about 40 million. So they're probably going to want about 80 million on him. Barca aren't going to be touching that with a 20-foot pole. They're not. Not saying that they can't afford it or anything like that. I'm just saying they're not going to, when in reality, they probably want a left winger because they're not sold on Ansu Fati. Ferran Torres seems to be rotational between the front 3. The front 3 is Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Yamal. But you see if they go maybe the striker route. Obviously, Lewandowski's age, he's getting older. But, with Barca, it's like, I think they just love signing players for the sake of it. They treat it like it's FIFA career mode, because actually when you look at some of the youngsters coming through, there's so many good youngsters coming through. Was it Kabasi, the 17-year-old centre-back, super talented. You know, is it Casado? I might be saying that wrong. The central midfielder. And obviously, yeah, Yamal's obviously fantastic, but you got Heung-Min as well. There's Gavi and Pedri came through. They don't really need another central midfielder when their midfield is, an option of the Casado, the Frankie De Jong, the Gavi or the Garvey, or the Pedri, the Heung-Min. Kulusevski wouldn't suit what they want, in my opinion. Whereas Diaz, I can see it making more sense, or Doku or Gordon. One of those three would make more sense. Hey, Sean, how are you, mate? That is Casada. Appreciate it, Baz. How are you, mate? Don't sell both. Player, their importance says. Let's buy that. Rafinha plays more wing more, and he's a great. Oh yeah, Rafinha's been brilliant from this year. And I was, I'll hands up. I was like, I don't know if all at Spurs. I don't think he's done well enough at Barca. I was proved wrong. That's why I'm probably not the manager of Spurs. There you go. He probably did a decent. Barca's midfield is stacked. Yeah, exactly. This is my point. The midfield is so stacked. Kulusevski is most effective, yes, in the midfield. Obviously, with our situation, we don't sometimes get the output necessary at right wing, hence why he plays a little bit of right wing for us. So, you know what I mean? Barca, I don't know if they go for Nico Williams. It's an expensive deal, so I don't know if they will. Well, I think it's not just Messi's wages. It was a lot of things. Is Van de Ven playing, and why is Ange not bringing him in yet? Not playing. He's not fit, and they've got specialists looking at him and looking at how his body works, his mechanics, to see what they can do to make him stronger when it comes to playing more games. So we'll see. They've got outside people coming in to look at him. So, hey, the more eyes, the more of an idea the more ideas that you have, the better. Simple as that. Let's get a few tougher midfielders. Brighton has big, strong guys. I mean, other than the centre backs, Veltman at right back, it's Belabor in the midfield. Hinshelwood, obviously, not exactly a big fella. Neither O'Reilly or Ayari. But yeah, Belabor is. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Let's talk about some ridiculous reports around Micky van der Ven. So yeah, as soon as I tell you who it's from, it's bogus. And again, it's just Spurs pages really just putting out there because they think, that'll get some interaction. I'll get a few quids. I'm here to tell you, it's absolute garbage. Liverpool are keen on signing Micky van der Ven this summer, and it comes with Football Insider, so it's absolute garbage. Look, they might want him, and that I'm not saying that's not garbage. They might want him. I mean, we spent 40 million on him when playing. He's a top centre back in the Premier League. So if we're talking about that, right? And I always harp back to let's do it. Wesley Fofana. That's a great comparison in this regard. Probably wasn't as highly thought of at the time he got sold than Micky van der Ven, right? Micky's had much higher performances, had some injury issues, not English, so you can't even say there's any English tax and things like that. He was sold for 75 million. Micky, I think maybe a year younger than what he was when he was sold. And that was a few years ago. Micky, then, if that's 75 million, and by the way, when I talk about Fofana's injuries, Micky has a hamstring injury here and there. Fofana does ACLs. So it's a whole different breed between the two injuries, right? Micky's worth way above 75 million. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because of inflation, because of obviously, in terms of peak, Micky's got a higher peak. He's a better defender. Left-footed. When it comes to football nowadays, left-footers are obviously valued a little bit higher than right-footers. So yeah, he's going to be closer to 100 million, if not maybe even more. You never know. But yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's got a long-term deal. Spurs obviously don't want to move him on. Spurs are trying to just get him right. Because think of it this way, let's try and be glass half full with the Micky situation. Because I think we're all a bit down in the dumps. Micky's injured. He's never fit. He's this, that, and the other. Glass half full is, let's say he gets 3 hamstring injuries a year, even if you get that just down to 2, that could be the difference between losing Mickey for 3 or 4 Premier League games and having him for 3 or 4 Premier League games where you might win, let's just say 2 of them, that's 6 points better off there and then. Simple as that. 6 points better off. I'm not saying you have to win all 4. I'm just saying winning 2, and that's not crazy to ask. You're 6 points better off. And imagine this season, if we were 6 points better off this season, let's have a look. We would be, just to give you an idea how many points we'd be in top 4, we'd be 10 points behind with a game in hand. So if we win that, you'd be 7 points behind, which if we were 7 points behind top 4 right now, no one would be saying the season's done. And that's what I mean with this situation. If you get him just 25% less likely to be injured or 25% less injury time every single season, that is a game-changing amount of football when it comes to Micky. Now, what I will also say is, let's be, again, glass half full. Radu, obviously, we know is out for about a year. So, we'll leave Radu to the side to let him do his own thing. But let's be positive. What is Luka Vuskovic going to give us in the summer? Kevin Danso is going to get a good 6-month run here where hopefully Kevin gets an all right amount of football. He's not an old player as well. He's going to get a bit better. You start to go, hey, Mick, don't need you. Don't need you. You will see you at the weekend when we need you for, Man City at home. We'll see you at the weekend, mate. Don't need you right now. Tell you what, go home, stick your feet up. Vikings Valhalla on Netflix is a good watch. Enjoy that. Kevin's going to be playing, and you start to rotate. And then, with Micky, yes, he has had some injuries, when he's been playing once a week. But if you've got a lot more specialists looking at Micky, you're playing them once, but you're playing him once a week as well. Even if he only gets injured once a season for 5 weeks, right? Let's give him a whole 5 weeks out injured, and he plays the rest of the season. That's game changing. You're going to be so many points better off. You're going to be better in the competitions of cups and things like that. So that's why I'm looking at a glass half full. I don't want to be miserable about the Micky situation. Yes, I want Micky to play. Yes, I want Micky to be fit because I think he's a fantastic footballer and we are so much better when he plays. I just want to get him right. That's my attitude. This next sort of 3 months of the season, it'd be great if he was playing, but you know what? I'd rather take the next 5 years where he's right and proper and he's just killing every team that he plays. That's what I'm thinking, The season's still alive. I'd rather not sell Romero or Micky. Van der Ven's a beast. Do you think Van der Ven will be fit before the Europa League last 16? I don't know. When's the Europa League last 16? Let's have a look. Europa League. Should we just look at the timetable? So we would play at the moment either Sociedad or AZ Alkmaar because they're the teams that have basically won, by the way, just to give you an idea. They won their first legs. Obviously, AZ beat Galatasaray 4-1 and Sociedad won 2-1. So the first round would be the 6th of March. I think he'd miss that. The second round, the second leg of this round 16 would be the 13th of March. He might be back for that. That's where I'm thinking he'd be back by. They sort of said mid-March. I think mid-March is where I'm going to be saying he's going to be back, Bunch of comedians. There we go. If the sports scientists can modify his running technique and get it down to 1 every 2, they could do, Steve. Yeah, they could do. What's happening to Romero? How's apparently? Yeah. Well, I would say he's probably done quite a bit of damage to his quad. That's my attitude towards Kuti. We have nothing to lose to risk Van der Ven. Is Micky going to be available tomorrow? No, Mickey's out injured, Chris. According to Ange, he has been fit since. He's been obviously played. He played at the end of January, but they don't want to risk him. They don't think he's completely right. He doesn't feel completely right. They don't want to risk him, and that's why they've got specialists in at the moment to look at him. So yeah, I reckon it'll be mid next month we might see Micky back. I've just got a weird feeling. I think Romero will be back before Micky, maybe like early March. They're basically the idea apparently with Romero is they've got one more test to do. If he clears that, he's good to come back to full team training. So they just want to make sure of that. So I don't think that's outrageous with Romero. So yeah, Romero, I think maybe early March is where in my head is at when it comes to him. American footballers have running specialists. Some players put more strain on a hamstring. They do indeed. End of Jan. Galatasaray will get to the last 6. Well, they're 4-1 down, mate. I don't know if they will. Micky's first week March, 2-3 weeks. I just got a feeling they'll say mid-March for Mick. Risk it before we have no matches left to climb up the table. And which will happen first? Van der Ven becomes fit or Carty will drop an album? That'll be Micky to come fit, mate. If he has an injury, where did he get the injury again? Well, look, he got through the Elfsborg game and felt fine. He didn't feel fine in training on the Saturday, and they didn't want to risk him and push it. Supposedly, that's what they've said. Quads are tricky. Every player is different. They feel good, but then they ain't. Yeah, no, honestly, I've pulled my hamstring countless times, and I've pulled my groins countless times and all sorts. You know when it's gone, and you're the only person that can tell you, I feel good again. And it takes time. It just does take time. Those injuries you can't rush. I did, and you literally injure it straight away, So hamstrings wise, you just got to take your time with those ones. With Micky, with Kuti, when it comes to your quad, it's going to take just as long, if not longer. It's a bigger muscle, and also, has there been any comparable situations of Van der Ven and Kuti at other clubs? Chelsea are going through something similar. Villa right now going through something similar. I think that's probably about it that I can give you right now. I mean, I would say City have got some centre-back injury issues, but City also then have about 3,000 centre-backs. So it's like, oh, well, you're missing 2. It's not a big deal, is it? John Stones is sitting on the bench. He was a £50 million centre-half. So, 100% have had so many calf injuries. Andy, they missed a lot of key players. Yeah, but to overturn 4-1, mate, I don't see them doing it. No, I don't think that's true, MS. I pulled a muscle during a match in table tennis training once. It happens. You've got to make sure you're warmed up and ready to rock and roll. Didn't Ryan says suffer? Well, we've had a lot of players that suffered. But yes, some good stuff there on Micky and Kulusevski. I think it was a good chat that we had about Micky. I think we've had too many attitudes in the Spurs fan base surrounding Micky and, being all doom and gloom. I think it was good to have an actual conversation and finding some solace and positivity in the situation. I think we will. Micky back in the next few weeks, fit, healthy, raring to rock and roll, hopefully withstanding the rigors of first team top flight football. No offense, Elfsborg. And in turn, Romero coming back, Danso still there, Jed Spence emergence, Destia Doggies back this weekend. Just saying, the defensive Avengers are coming back soon. Just taking their time. They got stopped at the toll. They've got to get the quid out. They've got to give the money over to the toll man. So they're fumbling around trying to get through the gates. I'm thinking more of the changing landscape if they're fit or not. Change all the time. It does change all the time. What's the prediction tomorrow for United? 3-1 Spurs. 3-1 Spurs. That's my view. But yeah, we'll be doing the last minute thoughts, hopefully, for Manchester United tomorrow. Depends on how many drinks I have today. We'll sort of see. But anyway, go and enjoy the rest of your days, everyone. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your mornings, afternoons, evenings, wherever you are in the world. Go and enjoy it. And I'll speak to you all really soon. Hopefully, probably tomorrow, to speak some more about Spurs. Take care, everyone. Peace.